Okay, we're back. And we got a new project and a new member of our RC family. I got the SCX10 and as much as I hate unboxings, we're going to do a little one real quick, and then we'll probably get right into the first part of part one of the build. Alright, so let's get this thing open. Alright, like I said, I don't do traditional unboxings because there's been a bunch of them on there. So we're just going to take a quick look at what we get out of here. The BF Goodrich tires. They do feel pretty good. I've been hearing a lot about them, how they feel kind of soft and sticky, and they do. And then we got our body, which this is a heck of a lot bigger than your normal axle body for an SCX10. Alright, then we got plastics bag 1, which has got the axle capture, bearing captures, and looks like we got a little thread lock and probably a little teeny tube of grease. Plastics bag 3, which has got your bumpers and your lenses for your lights, body post and the skid plates. Of course, we got our directions and our new frame rails. More of the little markers, sticker sheet, plastics bag 4, which has got the grill and looks like the roof rack and the mirrors. Now, this looks like the hardware bag, which has got the shocks and the transmission gears, transmission housing, the rest of the tires, and their method rims, which I'm not going to use. I'm sure the first thing we're going to do is put the axles together. So give me a minute to put all this and find out which ones I got to have. Also, the other few things I bought for this is I got the axle AE5 with the drag brake. This is a winch controller for a winch I'm going to put on. I got the RC four-wheel drive 35 turn motor. The axle bead lock rims, I got the 8-hole 1.9 bead lock rims in the black and gunmetal. Tactic 45 servo, which I got a different one coming for this, but I'll probably put this in there for now. My Futaba 3-channel receiver, aluminum servo horn. I picked up this cable for the winch a long time ago, and it was actually, what I wanted was the scale hook, and it was actually cheaper to buy the whole cable with 2 hooks, so I used one on a different winch I had. So I'm going to use this hook just in case my winch that's coming doesn't have a scale hook. And I've also got the LED system. I don't really know what this one's called. It doesn't really have a name, but as you can tell, the controller is real small, and I like that. And it does brake lights, you know, turn signals, things like that, so it'll give it a more realistic look. Alright, well, give me a second here and I'm gonna open up these plastics and get the directions out, and we'll find step 1, and we'll probably just go through and do step 1 on this video, and then we'll kind of split it up so we can go as see it being built. Alright, give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. What we're going to do now is we're going to start with step 1, which is putting these new lock differentials together. So on the instructions, the first thing it wants you to do is open bag A, plastic bag 1, and you kind of pull out your parts you need. So we're just going to pull out the bearings we need. Now, from watching a few of these other videos, I've also noticed that you got to really watch the thickness of your bearings. Make sure you get the right ones that you need. And the beautiful thing about Axle's directions is you could actually lay the bearing right on top of the picture and the thickness, and it makes sure that you've got the right ones. Because there are some that are thicker than the others, and they're actually the same size from looking, but they're just thicker. So okay, so now we got our bearings we're going to need. Get our thread lock. And I'm guessing this is a little tube of grease, but we'll just save that there for the trail. I like to put a little plastic bag down when I do my thread lock, and I just put a little bit on the bag. Alright, well, step 1, they want you to take the locker, put your ring on there. Take the screws. Put a dab of Loctite on there. Make sure everything's lined up. I'm basically just starting these by hand. You don't want to snug them up or anything until you get all the screws in. And also with Loctite, a lot of times they want you to actually wait 24 hours before you run the vehicle, but I don't see a problem with that since we're just building it. Alright, and then once you put the bearings on, and there you go. That's step 1. Sorry about the light. Alright, well give me just a second, I'll be right back, and I'm gonna do the other one just like this. There ain't no sense of doing them both burning up video, and I'll be right back. Alright, hang on. Okay, we're back. We got both of our axle lockers done. Next thing it wants you to do is grab a housing. There again, here we got two different bearings. You see how thick that is. That goes on the inside. And then this smaller, thinner bearing goes on the outside. Then we put our gear in. You see how those are cut at an angle? Pretty cool. And I got to say, these are considerably smaller than the old SCX10. Alright, now this also wants you to grease this. And that's what we got there. Now I want you to put one of these ugly red caps on. Some people are a fan of the red. I'm not a big fan. It'd be different if maybe they were aluminum. I'm not a big fan of red plastic. And that's also your locking cap, see? And we just put this in there. And that locks your bearings in. And then we put these 4 screws in. And I've heard one of the good things on this kit is that there's very few 1.5 screws in this thing. That seems to be the case. Don't forget you're screwing in the plastic, so you don't want to go too fast. That's why I don't like using the power tool all the time, because it gets the screw hot, and then once the screw gets too hot, it starts melting your plastic. So you're better off just to work your way around a little bit. Give the screw time to cool off. I do like that these screws are machine head instead of the coarse screw. You just get more thread bite on it. And don't forget you are tightening plastic, so you don't need to over tighten. It looks like to go in quite a good way, so you get quite a good bite on it. Well, there's step 2. Now give me a second, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one off camera so I can catch up, because I want you to do this twice. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Now we're getting ready to start step 3. So we'll be working on the front axle first. You gotta love that, bull horns. Alright, first thing we're going to be needing is the steering knuckles. These are numbered 1 and 2. So evidently it's going to matter. Alright, so I want you to use the bigger bearing on the inside, of course. Sometimes it's easier to use the axle. The 2 axles are the same, so you can just put them together. Trying to do all this in real time so you can see how long it actually takes to put the truck together. Alright, now we take the axle, put us a bearing in either end. I always try to pay attention to the directions on the direction of the axle, which way it's facing. It'll tell you there too to pay attention to the direction. When I cut mine, I always cut them a little bit high to get it off the tree. Then I get in here with my cutters and I can get a better cut close without all that stuff in the way, and I don't have to clean it up any. these are also directional. This is the part that you're paying hard. And we'll go on. I want you to set them at 10 degrees. Gives you kind of an idea of how to do it. So once you get the one side on, the other side should be fairly simple. Alright, and that captures your bearings. There's actually a little line that runs down the axle. It's basically wanting you just to line it straight up with that. And you can actually set the axle right on the page and it'll pretty much let you know you're okay. Okay, and then it wants you to put your 2 screws in. Remember where you put your driver. And I'm basically stopping mine to where the screws flush. It seemed to pinch to close well. Yeah, that's really tight. On to step 4. Alright, step 4 wants you to face the axle this way. Put the right was number 1. I don't know why they couldn't just put left and right on there, but hey. Then they got these screws with the built-in, they're like, you no longer have to have the top hats. left side on. Alright, there's the front axle. Everything's spinning good. Now it wants us to do the rear. There again, we put our bearings in. Okay, this time it is a little different than your normal SCX10. Put your rods in first. Then your bearing. And it looks like it'd be, you could actually stick a bearing down in this housing too, but they don't have you having that. But well, that might be a thought later. You put your cap on. Screws. Alright, and there's the rear. Okay, now they want you to put these on. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm not a big fan of the red. I like red, but this is a flat plasticky red. Plastic feels good now, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not a fan of the color. Alright, that's it for the rear axle. Finish up this one and that'll be it for this step as far as the rebuild of the axles here, or rebuild of the axles, excuse me. Alright, that's that side. I gotta say, I find it kind of refreshing that they've changed so much. I've built so many of these SCX10s that they've just become second nature. Now it's nice to know that you're not expecting anything. It was like when the Bomber came out, you know, it was something different to build, and kind of really looking forward to when they come out with the 2-speed conversion for this transmission. And I'm wondering if they're going to slow it down or speed it up, or if you're going to actually have the option to do either or. Leave what you have now as your high gear and slow it down, or if they're going to actually speed up, you know, give you a second gear or a low gear. I don't know. it'd be nice if you had the choice to where you could set it up the way you want it, where you could, like myself, I like the crawl where I could really torque it down in the low end. I'm not much on fast. Alright, well there we go with our 2 axles. Things nice and smooth. Actually, I'm going to back this one off a tiny bit. Here you go. Wasn't paying attention, the screws came out the other end. Back them off just a little. So they're flush. Alright, well that's it for the axles. Our next thing will be putting links together, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. Do watch out for that. I didn't notice it, but when you're coming around, you don't want the screws to stick out real far. Flush will be fine, I believe. Let's back these off just a little bit. It's kind of tight anyway. Everything here spins real free. This all spins real free. Alright, well that's it for the first part. We got the axles built. There's the rear and the front. Everything's turning real well, spinning real well. So when we come back, I guess the next part will be the links. Yep, the next part will be the steering links, and then after that we'll do the links for the axles. And then most likely after that, my least favorite part, the shocks. Okay, so that's it for this time. Until next time, thanks for watching. Please like, please share, and comment, and I'll try and help out if I can. Until next time, bye.